1916. The Eastern Front is locked in a stalemate. After several failed and expensive campaigns, the Russians were unwilling to attack, while the Austro-Hungarians were content to hold the line. Germany battled the Allies in France and Belgium, but the Allies needed to attack the Central Powers on both fronts. So the under-resourced Russian army was pressed to find new methods to break down the superior Habsburg forces that had long resisted them. Russia, 1919. A civil war rages between the revolutionary Bolsheviks and the anti-communist White Armies. On the banks of the Great Volga River, the town of Tsaritsyn stands as one of Russia's most important industrial centers and the gateway to central Russia. Having laid siege to Tsaritsyn on 3 previous occasions, the White Army, now aided by British tanks and planes, finally succeeded in capturing the town. These counter-revolutionaries, mostly Cossacks and old imperial forces, hoped to use this victory to secure southern Russia and ultimately launch an assault on Moscow, the seat of Bolshevik power. However, the Red Army, with its radical but popular ideologies, still controlled the central regions. This meant that most of the country's oil and grain were under Bolshevik control. With winter fast approaching, the Bolsheviks thought that the White Army would be too weak to hold the town for much longer. The commander of the southwestern front of the Imperial Russian Army, General Alexei Brusilov, launched a colossal assault against the Austro-Hungarians in Galicia on June 4, 1916. The offensive was one of the first to utilize revolutionary shock troops and infiltration tactics on a mass scale, attacking weak points of the Austro-Hungarian defenses to achieve breakthrough. The German army, among others, would copy the Russian infiltration tactics for later attacks. The Brusilov offensive is known as one of the deadliest in world history, and is the only World War I campaign to be named after an individual commander. It broke the back of the Austro-Hungarian army and had pushed it back to the Carpathian Mountains by September 1916. But due to poor coordination with other Russian commanders, the offensive failed to fully knock the Austro-Hungarians out of the war. Despite the massive tactical success, it cost the Russian Empire 1 million casualties and failed to bring about a conclusive victory against the Central Powers, which left the Russian population disillusioned and susceptible to revolution. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated after the 1917 February Revolution, and the following provisional Kerensky government was overthrown by Lenin and his Bolsheviks in November. Russia was thrown into an enormously bloody and costly civil war between mainly the Bolshevik Red Army and the opposing White Army and its multinational allies. One of the key battles between the Reds and the Whites was the struggle for control of the city of Tsaritsyn on the Volga River between 1918 and 1920. Tsaritsyn changed hands several times during the Civil War and was temporarily occupied by the White Army in June 1919, when Major Ewan Cameron Bruce of the British Army spearheaded the capture of the city with a single Mark V tank. In January 1920, Stalin led a successful Red Army recapture of the city, forcing the remnants of the Whites to retreat towards the Crimean Peninsula. In 1925, Tsaritsyn was renamed Stalingrad, and during World War II, it would once again be under siege in one of the bloodiest battles in history.